Just like the bird who feels the sun and sings before the dawn has come. Have faith, have faith. Slowly, slow, my child, the world waits for you, and your window of time will come shining through. Slowly, slow, don't rush, you know, it'll all come easy.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وبعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I welcome you again to another episode in our pursuit of happiness, in this road which me and you, hands together, trying to reach our goal in life, which is a happy life. That joy, that comfort you have every day, in and out, rejoicing and enjoying yourself. Alhamdulillah, we have covered some of the most important tools or means which you have to attain a happy life. Today, continuing on that, I remind you again, all and whatever we're going to mention, inshallah, it all goes together. Each point, it complements another. Once you have all these things together, it's like a recipe, and you're just combining the ingredients. Once you have the correct recipe, made from the right ingredients, then inshallah the taste will be as delightful as you want, as delicious as you want. And a happy life is the same. Like the Shaykh mentioned in the beginning, he shall mention religious ways, natural ways, and physical ways. If you're going to gather all of these, then you have to have a happy life, inshallah. If you're going to have some, then you'll have partially a happy life, partially. And if you don't get any of them, then don't blame except yourself. Continuing where the Shaykh left off, I'll read. He says, the believers, they gratefully accept situations of happiness and joy, and are thankful and use them in what is beneficial. This is very important. The human being, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you are always between three situations, or two situations. We can cut it to that. One, either you're in a time of bliss and happiness, alhamdulillah, everything is going as you want it. You get whatever you want. Two is when you're undergoing hardships, difficult times. So the Shaykh starts with the easy times, when you're in moments of happiness and whatever you want is there. He says, they gratefully accept situations of happiness and joy. You accept those situations and you are thankful. This is very, very important. You should realize what you have. Be thankful. We shall expand on this, but not today, inshallah. And use them in what is beneficial. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, use it in the right way. Rather, use it in what is beneficial. Don't misuse it. When you use them in this manner, what is the result? He says, they experience additional joy. You have the joy of getting whatever you wanted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you. Then you did your part of being thankful and grateful, and you used it in a beneficial way. When you do this, you get additional joy. And you get the desire, the blessings of these things, and hope that they remain with you. It is so sweet. You're enjoying such a good time that you have this feeling and this blessing that you wish that I wish this does not end. This can never come to you if you're ungrateful. It can never come to you if you don't realize what you have. He says, And also, they yearn for the good reward of those who are thankful to Allah. On top of that, there's the thawab, the reward of those who are grateful, which we'll discuss again. I'm saying it's not today. There is a day, inshallah, we'll discuss about being grateful, having the attribute of gratitude. This feeling and experience, it brings with it so much good and so much blessings, far greater than the joy that is the primary cause of it. Even the initial thing which caused all of this, it becomes very minute to you because of the feelings which come from it on the condition you use it properly. This is very, very important. Meaning, we can put it simply, say, a good thing should reciprocate and bring a good thing. Let what is nice give birth to what is nice. Use it in the proper way. Whether it is good health Allah gave you, or it is the time, whether it is wealth which you can use properly, whether it is good words you can give to others, whether it is counseling you can do to others, whether it is helping anybody in any way, use it properly, you'll get all of this. Now the other situation. For those who are tried, we said the human being is always in two situations. Easy times, good times, you're enjoying yourself, alhamdulillah. And unpleasant times when you're undergoing trials and tests, afflictions. He says, on the other hand, in harmful and unpleasant situations, situations of grief and sorrow, they deal with them, meaning the believers, by resisting what is resistible. If it is something you can push away, whatever it is, then you push it away from those hardships or afflictions. And lightening what could be lightened. If you could not push it away, whatever had to come, it came to you, it tested you, it afflicted you, then try to lighten it. Don't just sit there, try to lighten the burden. And they persevere with a beautiful contentment over what they have no power to resist. There's some things you can resist. If you want to attain happiness, the Shaykh is there writing us, if you want to attain happiness, resist it. Do what you can. Remember the Shaykh says there's religious, natural and physical ways of attaining happiness. This is one of them. Let's say it's a sickness and it already came and you're already infected. But you know, if I try to start treating it right now, the effect won't be so bad. I should be okay in around a week. But if I don't treat it now, then the problem will require, let's say, surgery, or you'll be in bed for like 3 weeks. Try to resist it now. Take whatever you have right now. Resist that problem. If you cannot though, he says, there's something which they affect you and they hit you one time and you cannot do anything. He says, you should persevere with a beautiful contentment over what they have no power to resist. Some things you don't have anything to do with them. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test people. Let's say He brings a hurricane or a storm, a tsunami, an earthquake. It's something you cannot resist if you had no news about. If you had news about it and it was announced today or tomorrow at such time, there's going to be an earthquake or there's a hurricane that's going to hit. Prepare yourself. The first step, resist what you can resist. Fortify your house. If you're going to go down into the basement, get yourself some extra provisions of food. Whatever you can, you do. But if there was no warning and it just hit like that, then persevere with a beautiful contentment because you had no choice. Why is he saying this? You should see that. He says, by this though, you achieve, one, the benefits of honest struggle. You are sincere, you struggled, you achieved the benefit of that. Second, you gather experience and inner strength. Every time you deal with difficulties, my dear brother Muslim, my dear Muslimah, my sister, it's very, very important. You should learn from whatever you go through. Many people, they fail here. Whatever happens to you, it should be a lesson. Rather, in fact, whatever happens to others, try to learn from that. So second thing, gather experience. And this leads you to have inner strength. You need that inner strength to face the difficulties. You need that inner strength to face the hardships. You have to be strong. And third, you earn the reward of patience and perseverance. All of this, it is greater and it belittles the distasteful things which happen to you. That sweetness of persevering, sabr, wal musabara, it's very, very important. As a result, he says, they end up having a place in the unpleasant things. They have joy and good hope. Something unpleasant happens, a test, a trial, like we say, let's say an earthquake, whatever. But because you resisted what you resisted, you gained a reward for your struggle. Second, you gained and you benefited experience into that, and this built your inner strength. Third, if you could not do anything, you gain the reward of being patient and persevere. This actually makes you have joy and good hope even in the unpleasant situations. And secondly, it makes you have that raja, this concept of raja. You have a sincere devotion of hoping from the reward of Allah. All of this, it lightens the unpleasant situations. Most of us undergoing hardships and difficult times. This is the way of dealing into hardships. And this series of ours, inshallah, throughout the episodes, this is what we're discussing. How to attain happiness and how to minimize or push away those hardships you're facing. To summarize this, the Shaykh says, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he beautifully expressed this situation in a Sahih hadith where he said, عجبا لأمر المؤمن عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كله خير إن أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له وإن أصابه ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له وليس ذلك لأحد إلا لمؤمن, as in Sahih al-Bukhari. عجبا لأمر المؤمن, the Prophet says, amazing is the affair of the believer, wonderful, the believer. Again, this emphasizes the point we mentioned in the last episodes. The first block, the foundation, the first step to attaining happiness is correct belief. So amazing is the matter of the believer. Wonderful is the affair of the believer. All of his affairs are good. When he is touched by ease and affluence, things are going good, the happy situations, he is thankful, like we mentioned, and that is good for him. And when he is touched by suffering, difficulties, unpleasant situations, he is patient, and also because it becomes good for him. And that is only for the believer, nobody else. After the break, inshallah, we shall expand on that. Please sit back. Assalamu alaikum.
Slowly, slow, don't rush, you know, it'll all come easy.
The words of Allah, the Quran, sent to us by the Almighty, so we can hear and obey.
We cannot live our life without the Holy Quran. You must listen carefully to the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because your safety and my safety will be with this great verses of the Holy Quran. We are here in this world for a test, and this test, and you will have questions in the Day of Judgment.
Hear and obey with Sheikh Rifat Muhammad in Ramadan, only on Huda TV.
Slowly, slow, don't rush, you know, it'll all come easy.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. welcome back in a pursuit of happiness. Like I said, hand in hand, I am in the same situation like you are in. I'm just sharing this advice with you. Alhamdulillah. I still hope you have that smile on your face. Cheer up. That's one of the first things you have to do when you want happiness. Going back to what we're discussing, the Prophet ﷺ says, amazing is the affairs of the believer. When he is touched by ease and good times, things are going the way he wants, like we say today, he is thankful. So it becomes good for him, like the Shaykh explained. He gains the reward. On the other hand, when he is touched by hardships and unpleasant situations, he is patient, and that becomes good for him. Like we said, he gains experience, he gains inner strength, he gains the reward of the honest struggle, and he gets the reward of hoping for the reward in Allah. Just that hope, having that hope in Allah, is a very good deed you have to do. Then he said, وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ لَأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِمُؤْمِنٍ. And this is only for the believer, nobody else. My brothers and my sisters, this is an encouragement to each one of us. We should strive to be in this group of believers so that we can come into this situation, that our affairs are all amazing, wonderful. The Shaykh then he says, the Prophet ﷺ, he informs us in this hadith that the good of the believers and his gains and the excellent benefits of his deeds are multiplied several fold in all things, be they pleasant or unpleasant. And this is true. The believer, whatever he does, it is multiplied. To show the importance of patience just a bit, the Prophet ﷺ says, maybe we should touch on patience, because this is very, very important. The believer, even when he is pricked by a thorn, or the smallest thing which can happen to you, let's say a paper cut, if you are patient, then Allah gives you a reward. Even that, yes, even that. Secondly, with patience, that's where you attain the high status you want. Most people today, they cannot be happy because they want a high status. They define their happiness. Some of us are like that. Some people define happiness by money. Some of us define happiness by being famous and well known. Some of us define happiness by having that dream job you have, or dream job you want, afwan. Some of us define happiness by getting the degree you want. Some people, they have this. But you have to be patient to attain whatever you want. This is a condition which is there is no other way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً, and we made them a'imma, leaders, guiding people by our command. لَمَّا صَبَرُوا, when after they were patient. And وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُقِنُونَ, and there were people who were certain with what Allah said. Patience and certainty. We talked about certainty in the first 2 or 3 episodes. Being certain that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the control of everything. Being certain that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives happiness to anybody He wants. Being certain that if you really turn to Allah sincerely and you practice whatever we are going to say here, inshallah, Allah will give you happiness. Being certain in your belief and your righteous actions. And then being patient. This is very, very important. Secondly, the definition of patience. I think this is something which we should touch on. Most of us, we fail, and we don't get the reward as mentioned in this part we just read, because our patience, can we say, is second class, or is not real patience? Let me share a story with you. Once the Prophet ﷺ is walking with his companions, and they passed by a woman sitting near a grave, which happened to be the child of the woman, just buried. The woman was crying. In Islam, it's okay to cry, but it's forbidden to weep out loudly and scream. So the woman, she's crying, head down, and the Prophet ﷺ is passing by. And he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to her, Isbiri, have patience. And the woman, not knowing who's talking to her, she replies and says, leave me alone. What has touched me has not touched you. What happened to me haven't happened to you. So the Prophet ﷺ, he goes away. His part is only to advise and guide people. Once he passes by, the people, they say to the woman, didn't you know who you're talking to? That was the Prophet ﷺ. Subhanallah, the woman got up right away and she started to run after the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ is sitting in the masjid. And she starts to apologize. Ya Rasulullah, I didn't know it's you, I'm sorry. The Prophet ﷺ says to her these very important words. He says, إِنَّمَا الصَّبْرُ فِي صَدَمَةِ الْأُولَى. Real patience is when that unpleasant, that calamity, that trial affects you. Once that things happen, right away you should have patience. Other than that, after 2 or 3 weeks, everybody can be patient. You say, Alhamdulillah, I'm patient now. No. Patience is when whatever struck, it struck you. At that moment, that's the patience which counts. I know most of us will say, well, this could be difficult. It's not difficult to lie if we train ourselves. That's what the Shaykh said to you. When unpleasant things happen, you try to resist as much as you can and you gain experience so that next time it happens, you have real patience. A classic or the best example maybe of patience is the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. You know what his brothers did to him? Look how Yaqub alayhi salam was patient. So patient. After losing Yusuf, then secondly after losing the brother of Yusuf, Binyamin, he never lost hope. And Allah gave him the reward. He brought back what he lost. Yusuf alayhi salam, he became a minister, someone with so much influence, prominent, famous for what he did. But let's look at the verse which says when the brothers of Yusuf came back, when they went with Binyamin and Yusuf, he made the trick to appear that Binyamin he stole. So he said, we have to hold him back. And those brothers of his, they went back to their father Yaqub and they complained. Our brother he stole and we could not do anything. So now he's in prison there. But Yusuf had told his brother, I'm your brother Yusuf, the long lost brother. And we're going to do this to them. Yaqub never lost hope. He's so patient. He says to them, go back and look for Yusuf and his brother. They go back. They enter into Yusuf's palace. Yusuf asked them, هل علمتم ما فعلتم بيوسف? Do you remember what you did to Yusuf when you were ignorant? And his brother, they are shocked, amazed. أَإِنَّكَ أَنْتَ يُوسُف? You are Yusuf? It can never be. He says, أَنَا يُوسُف وَهَذَا أَخِي, and this is my brother. قَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا. Allah has given us His favors. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us His blessings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this happy life we wanted. Why? How? إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرْ, the one who is a person of taqwa, correct belief and righteous actions. Remember we said that, the building block, person of taqwa. وَيَصْبِرْ, and a person of patience. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let to go أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, the reward of those who do good, the reward of those who do rectification. But how did he reach that? Yusuf says to his brother, Yusuf says to all of us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to us. These stories, brothers and sisters, they have great meanings, great benefits for us. Yusuf was in so much hardship, in the prison. What his brothers did to him is so hard, it's so difficult. He was stressed. Look how subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a very good ending. Very good ending. Why? He says to them, the one who has correct belief, he fears Allah and does righteous deeds, and he is patient. So the believer, when hardships happen, he becomes patient. Inshallah, I hope this hadith sticks with us in our mind. Amazing is the affair of the believers. When he's in good times, he is thankful. When he's hard times, he is patient, and everything becomes good for him. Until next time, I hope for me and you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sincerely ask Allah to grant us sincerity, good actions, and the attribute of patience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Have faith, just like the bird who feels the sun and sings before the dawn has come. Have faith, have faith. Slowly, slow, my child, the world waits for you. Just like the bird who feels the sun and sings before the dawn has come. Have faith, have faith. Slowly, slow, my child, the world waits for you, and your window of time will come shining through. Slowly, slow, don't rush, you know, it'll all come easy.